So on, I mentioned this earlier. There is a free assessment that to this point, I think tens of thousands of people, including leaders, have taken called the General Generational Quotient or GQ assessment. Can you tell me more about what insights that assessment gives?
Yeah, sure. So as part of the book, we decided to create an evaluation or an assessment that will allow you to respond to the 41 questions and then see, ooh, I'm pretty good with the Xers, but not so good with millennials, or I'm pretty good with builders, but not good with Gen Z. So it's been rather fun. I mean, it's not hyper scientific, but it just gives you a feel for, oh, you're going to manage these people probably pretty easily with a lot of things in common. But maybe these people, you're going to have to do the work of a cross cultural relationship. So, Will, I love this metaphor. If you and I hopped on a plane and flew to China, let's say, we would automatically hop off that plane in China being psyched up to work really hard to connect with people in that country. Why? Different language, different customs, different values. Bingo. When I talk to someone from Gen Z, I got to work as hard as I would in another country because they'll have different language, different customs. And I'm afraid that sometimes we don't want to work that hard. Let's be honest. In our 50s and 60s, I don't want to work that hard. This is how it is. And I think I give up some of that brilliant talent that a 20 something brings in because I'm not willing to do the work. This happens at family reunions, it happens in workplaces. So I am on a war path to help the generations not just tolerate each other, but leverage the strengths of each other along the way.
That's really good. Question two, what workplace trends are you seeing right now with Gen Z specifically that might be surprising to a Gen Xer like me?
All right, so this is not everywhere, but this is a rising trend. It's the democratization of the workforce, the democratization of the workforce. So a Gen Zer comes in with usually with a couple of qualities that are oxymoronic, a high sense of agency and a high sense of anxiety. So the agency comes from the smartphone because I can look up an answer with a Google reflex and I feel like I know what I'm doing when I'm 22. And the boss goes, "You don't know what you're doing, Bobby." You know, but there's a high sense of agency. They feel like they don't need to wait. They got the answer. Will, I just had a high school senior say this to me. My teachers are obsolete. Isn't that interesting? And he wasn't being disrespectful. He was just saying, I can look up everything they say to me in the classroom. So the high sense of agency or empowerment comes from, wow, they've looked up stuff since they were 11 years old. But then there's this weird, I shouldn't say weird. It's weird to older people, though, high sense of anxiety. They're just anxious and having panic attacks and maybe mental health issues that have been normalized today. Let's, don't we all hear about mental health issues as a norm? So I think hiring managers and employers need to get ready. They're going to be very audacious. I just heard from an attorney who interviewed a Gen Z candidate, and the Gen Z candidate, 15 minutes into the job interview, said, I'm going to have your job in 18 months. Probably not a good thing to say to the hiring manager in the interview there, but she felt like it would come across confident. It came across as arrogant, and he dismissed her. So we gotta come together. We got to meet in the middle. So I think that would be my answer. High sensitive. Get ready for a wow. They're audacious in what they think they can pull off, but they're also very anxious. So one moment you need to say, let me empower them to do something entrepreneurial at our team. On the other hand, they might need an arm around the shoulder saying, hey, you're going to be okay. You're going to be just fine with that anxiety. And by the way, I'm going to point out, I think both of these, agency and anxiety, were brought on by the smartphone. So I'll stop there.